Okay. Hi. Hello, I'm John Nordmark. I started ebags.com 10 years ago, or I guess 13 years ago now, but I was its CEO for 10 years. Left 3 years ago and just recently have been involved in starting another company that's not a retailer, but that is built to be partly a service to the retail environment. And I still sit on the board of ebags.com. So a little bit of background, eBags drop ships about 80% of the products from about 400 warehouses around the United States. It did about 100 warehouses out of Europe as well. We have gathered about 2 million customer reviews. We're a leader in that space. And we've shipped about 10 million bags, or at least that's what we did while I was its CEO. So we built a site named 6PM, sold it to Zappos about 4 years ago. And after I left eBags, I helped a number of friends. And I'm telling you this because I have a little perspective on other retailers. One, I'm helping some friends from GSI roll out a company named ShopRunner, which is a competitor to, it's a multi-merchant version of Amazon Prime, which is an incredible story in itself. But I helped connect them into Newegg, Bare Necessities, eBags, Borders, and a bunch of other websites. They've got about 100 of them in the pipeline right now to launch. I think they've got about 30 live at this point. I've also helped friends from LiveClicker, PowerViews, Bazaar Voice, Certona, which is a behavioral targeting company that I think plays into this discussion because as people log into retail websites on the front end, it's really important to be able to try to marry up the information that you're getting from a social login to the behavioral targeting algorithms you're seeing through companies like Certona or ChoiceStream. The reason that's important is in the case of Certona at eBags, when we implemented that, we were able to increase our average order value with even an increase in the conversion rate of about 18% sustained over a year. So it's a pretty powerful tool once implemented on the site. And then also, what I believe is that a lot of retailers, it's hard to make money. They don't have the margins of Google, Eric, which, best margins in the world. I think Facebook probably has similar margins, whatever. But eBags is mid-30s, and when you get down to the bottom line, it's tough to make money. So my belief is that Amazon is a genius at this. When they introduced Amazon Prime, when they introduced cloud computing, fulfillment services, the third-party marketplace, the credit card company, all these things are the things that make the ecosystem of Amazon a profitable company and a really powerful company. So I'm hoping in my future to create some services that are valuable to retailers to roll out. And that plays into this as well because it requires an ability to move people who log in at one site seamlessly into services offered by other companies, or services within the company. But you have to be able to move from one website to another without people really noticing that. So registration across service providers is important, but ultimately too, I think to be successful with retailers, we heard it with Kodak, and I think you'd hear it from most retailers. What they're really concerned about, because it's a bread and butter, is fast checkout. Like someone said, every click, people flee with every extra click, and it's true. And so everything in a retail organization they have focused, ultra focused on trying to get people quickly into the checkout lane and through it. So if there's a way to help retailers log in and then carry that login process through into the checkout, so there isn't a gateway at the checkout spot, but you can move straight through the checkout process seamlessly, I think then you've got a great product. I do believe that this business that we're talking about here, OpenID or OpenAuth, is where product reviews were for retailers about 6-7 years ago. When eBags started doing it in 1999, we think there were about 5 retailers doing it at that time. now everybody does it. It's standard. Limited to partner implementations for the most part. I'm going to show you a couple of those. There aren't a lot of retailers doing it from the front end. They kind of do it through partners like LiveClicker. And I don't think OpenID has a real mind share from retailers at this point. I do think if you focus on an enemy like Amazon, I don't mean that really, but I mean, you know, they're growing so fast that even the large retailers like Toys R Us or Dick's Sporting Goods, you know, they can't keep up with these guys. And one of the reasons is you go to Amazon, you can buy anything, and it's one login, one ID. You know, they really have their own form of OpenID. It's kind of like the Amazon Prime of IDs, and you know, we got to combat that collectively. So this is just a landscape of some of my friends, and you can see that in every case here, Newegg, Cooking, Toby, their login is just normal, and then their version of you know, OpenID and stuff is just the social buttons right here, where, you know, follow me on Facebook or in Twitter. And if you go down to even Zoomies, which is growing like crazy, you know, up in Seattle, they don't care about logging in through Facebook or anyone like that. And the consumers seem to accept it quite well as well. Zoomies, same thing, just standard follow me on Twitter type buttons. If you go to art.com here in San Francisco, or all posters, same thing. But they've got a like button on their product detail page. And I'll show you some other examples of that. And then also share this image. But not many people are liking this, even though this is one of the best-selling posters on their website. And so, you know, really rudimentary implementation still in the retail environment. And again, I think part of this is because we're not addressing the checkout process yet, which is what they're really going to be concerned about, because that drives life or death for the retailer. So, you know, what we need is risk-free, no-work deployment process in the retail environment. And that means, again, the friction-free, seamless registration and registration across service providers. And I want to show you a couple of risk-free deployments that have been done so far. But again, they haven't been done by the retailer. They're done through service providers. Now, you may not be able to see this really well, but eBags, you know, we make our own videos. And they get viewed as many as 100,000 times. Some of them, if you go look on the site, you'll see, you know, tons of views. But most of the views, about 80% of them, happen off of eBags. They don't happen on the site. It's pretty incredible. People come and they take those videos about bags that sometimes are like 3 minutes long, and they'll put them on blogs and stuff. It's amazing. But then, because of the way this is implemented through LiveClicker, in the case of this video right here, which has been viewed, I think it's about 8,000 times, it's been liked by 25 people, and people have written comments on it. When they comment on it, the comments are shared across the Facebook platform and then back into eBags, displayed on the product detail page. And that's pretty cool. But it was done by LiveClicker here in San Francisco, not by eBags. eBags just benefits through this SaaS implementation. LiveClicker, another one for advanced auto parts. They've pushed all their videos out into Facebook onto a page. And again, a lot of likes. They get a fair number of views. They're kind of informational videos. 9,000, 9,000 people have said they like that page. Borders, which, you know, I mean, you know, they're struggling right now, trying to stay alive as Amazon's trying to kill them. But, you know, they've done stuff like, they just started collecting consumer reviews just like in the last month. But they got 100,000 in the first week they tried. I mean, that's how big this company is. Like 25 million people are in their loyalty program. They're huge. But, you know, they're trying to catch up and get people engaged with their website. They've got 208 reviews on this one product, and 273 people have come here and liked this product. What's kind of interesting is Borders implemented the like button by themselves. The reviews were done by, not LiveClicker, but Power Reviews. And because they've done that, the reviews push off the website into the you know, the Facebook news feeds as well. And then they get a lot of people, like in this case, on their Facebook page. This isn't into the news feeds, but they have 388 people that have liked this post within their page on Facebook. And you know, I've looked at other sites like Shop at Home, which is another retail couponing type site. They'll have 1,200 people comment on a coupon. So definitely, you know, the retailers are learning how to use, some of them are learning how to use Facebook really well, but in a lot of cases, in most of the cases, it's through service providers, not really through their own work. These are just examples of, you know, here's a book I reviewed, The Devil in the White City. I did it on Facebook just to, on Borders, just to show how it flowed through into my Facebook page, and you can see their number of people liked it and commented on the book. I mean, it's pretty cool, just for engagement and awareness. So I think opportunities people in this room have are, you know, grease the skids of the process, try not to raise any eyebrows as, you know, as people are using the application. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that. This is the Sears site. I logged onto it myself just to see how it was working, and I tried to log in through Facebook, and it said, oh, you know, we already recognize, I guess, the ID that I had in Facebook. It's already, I have an account on Sears, and this is a case where it's pretty cool, like it recognized me, and, you know, even though I tried to come in through Facebook. But I think the messaging, this is where the A/B splits. This is how eBags made it through, like, the early years of the .bomb, you know, without raising money and stuff. It was tons of A/B split testing, just making sure we got all the messaging perfect, so that the user experience is perfect. But this red thing, like, scared me, you know. And if there were a way to just say, oh, you know, John Nordmark at yahoo.com is already here, just put your password here. There's an easier way to say it than this big red flag. And but still, it's cool. They're trying this, and they've got it up and running. I do think it's a big deal. I tried Twitter too. It just wants me to enter my email address. But then I went over to Threadless, and they're one of the more advanced retail companies. They have a Facebook login, and you'll just see how simple it is. It just asks for, you know, log in here or log into Facebook. And I hit the Facebook button, and it's pre-populated everything here into my Facebook account. So then all I need to do is hit the join button. So, you know, I think just by testing this and fine-tuning the process, a lot of people will use it. It's just a lot easier. The next thing is facilitate faster and easier checkout. ShopRunner, I think, is going to be trying to head down this path where they're going to be building probably some kind of technology. Maybe they work with the OpenID. Maybe I don't know how they're going to proceed, but I do know because they're going to be operating within the shopping carts of 100 different merchants. They have got to tackle this because right now it's a tough kind of a login process that, you know, they're a new company. They're not totally proud of yet. I mean, it's a good login process, but they need to make it more seamless. So I think you'll see more activity in that space coming up. And then finally, connect between providers. And so going back to Borders, Borders gets 8 million visitors a month to their website. You know, even though they're on the ropes in a lot of cases, they're still huge. And one of the products that is linked to their website is this self-publishing service where you can, if you got a blog, you can turn it into a book. But you have to log in again. You know, if you click off to it, it's a whole separate login. Using Miles, my new company, it's a big loyalty program management system, and they have the biggest loyalty management, loyalty program in the retail world, 25 million active members in the last year. If you click off that site and try to log in, you have to, you know, re-log in again. So creating the seamless federated type experience is a big deal, I think, for a lot of companies. And then this is just kind of trying to show what we're trying to do at Using Miles, where, you know, we need someone to be able to go from eBags to Using Miles off to a hotel site or an airline site. All this movement should just happen without any extra steps. But right now, it's a lot of extra steps. Last thing, I asked one of our developers, like, what should we do? And sorry about all the words, but you know, what do we do to make Using Miles work better? And he said if we could get our partners to implement OpenID or OAuth, providers that would help reduce friction for us, mainly by avoiding them making or share the login information with using Miles as a third party. However, that still leaves users with multiple identities and passwords to manage. So that's still an issue. The ideal would be if partners supported social login to their sites in conjunction with OAuth or a similar authorizations scheme for us to connect to them. Then a user could log into our site, his or her Google identity, for example, and then simply go through an authorization step at the partner site, also using Google, to allow using Miles to access their information. And then finally down here he says, I just wish people like Google would start accepting Yahoo and like take a leading stance. And I think we heard today that's all happening. So that was good to hear. And that's it.
Who are the partners? If you could get our partners to, I'm not sure I get the context, implement OpenID and what providers. So you're talking about which partners?
Airlines and rental agencies, hotels.
And retailers, and yeah. Because I think more and more, I mean, that's why this whole thing's starting. Sites are trying to work together, right? And leverage off each other's user bases and make it as seamless to move from site to site. And that's the new company I'm working on. We're going to live or die kind of partly based on that. Okay.
So I actually had a question about that, but is there one more presenter?
There's one more presenter.
Afterwards?
Maybe after.
Okay. All right.